They say Driftmore is the kind of place people go to disappear, either because they want to or because something wants them to. It's a wind-bitten coastal town on the edge of Maine, surrounded by craggy cliffs and pine-choked hills. The fog rolls in heavy by dusk and doesn't leave until the late morning sun burns it away. I came here to write. Rent was dirt cheap. The house I got, an old creaking two-story cottage, overlooking the Atlantic, had been abandoned for years. The real estate agent said the owner vanished during a winter storm and was never heard from again. I should have walked away, but I didn't. The first week, it was peaceful. I wrote during the day, walked the rocky beach at night. The locals weren't friendly, but they nodded at me, stared a little too long. I chalked it up to being an outsider. But then things started changing. It began with the dreams. I'd wake up gasping, sheets soaked in sweat. Always the same vision, a massive figure standing in the fog outside my window, eyes like dying embers, and something snarling. I started locking the doors, pulling the curtains tight. Still, I'd wake up with the faint smell of wet fur in the room. On the 7th night, I found footprints in the snow outside my bedroom window. They weren't boots. They were clawed, deep, bare. The stride was too long for a human, and they led nowhere. They just stopped 10 feet from my house, as if whoever, whatever, made them had vanished into the air. I called the sheriff, an old man named Morris, who looked like he'd seen too many things and believed in too few. He listened quietly, then said, "Lock your doors. Stay inside during the fog. And if you hear howling, don't look out the window." That night, the fog was thicker than ever. I could barely see the porch light. The air felt heavy, electric, like a storm was building that never quite arrived. Around midnight, I heard it, a low, long howl. It echoed through the trees like the cry of something that used to be human. I froze. Then came the scratching, soft, deliberate, right against my back door. I sat in the kitchen with a butcher knife in my hand, heart pounding in my ears. I didn't move, didn't breathe. Eventually, it stopped. I waited until sunrise before opening the door. The wood was gouged, deep claw marks, like from a bear. But they were spaced wrong. And worse, I found tufts of gray fur caught in the slats. I took it into town to a local vet, said I found it while hiking. She studied it under a scope, then turned pale. "This isn't dog. It's not wolf. It's something else." I started digging into the town's history. Driftmore wasn't on modern maps until the 1950s. Before that, it was listed under a different name, Greyhide Point. The local library's archives were sparse, but I found one article from 1892, yellowed, faded, barely legible. 4 fishermen gone. Eyewitness claims beast with man's eyes to blame. Then another clipping. Family slain on Greyhide Cliff. Locals blame curse. Authorities blame wolves. There were no wolves in this region anymore. Hadn't been for nearly a century. But the deaths continued. Disappearances. A pattern of vanishings during the full moon every winter. And all the victims lived near the cliffs. Just like me. 2 nights before the full moon. I heard it again. Not a howl this time, but a voice. Calling my name. Not shouted. Whispered. Raspy. Familiar. Ethan. It sounded like my mother. But she'd been dead 10 years. I peered out the window and saw a shape in the fog. Human-sized, standing motionless in the yard. When the lightning flashed, I saw it clearly. It was me. My face. My clothes. But wrong. The eyes were yellow. The jaw was too wide. And the hands had claws. I screamed and fell backward. When I got up again, the figure was gone. I tried to leave town the next morning, packed everything into my car, and drove like hell. But just 5 miles out, the engine died. No reason, no warning. I walked back. Took 3 hours through the snow. When I returned, my front door was wide open. Inside, the place was trashed. Furniture torn apart. Walls scratched. My mattress was soaked in what looked like blood and mud. On the mirror, written in something dark and thick, were 2 words. Stay human. That night, I boarded up the windows, nailed the doors shut. I made a fire in the fireplace and stayed awake with a shotgun across my lap. But I still heard it. The breathing, the scratching, the voice. Let it in. You're already changing. I looked down and saw my arms were covered in hair. My nails were black. My teeth ached. I ran to the mirror. My eyes glowed yellow. I don't know what's real anymore. It's the full moon tonight. I haven't slept in 2 days. My reflection moves on its own. My joints pop when I stand. I'm hungry in a way food doesn't fix. The town is silent. Even the birds are gone. I can feel something inside me, snarling to be free. They say the curse doesn't just kill you. It rewrites you. You wake up in the fog. No memory. Just hunger. You walk like a man, but hunt like a beast. And then, you forget you were ever human. If you find this journal, and I'm gone, please burn the house. Salt the ground. Don't try to help me, because I'm not me anymore.
And tonight, I hunt.
Black Hollow wasn't on most maps. A dying coal town buried in the Pennsylvania wilderness. Its population never passed 300. No police station. No hospital. Just a post office that doubled as a general store. A gas pump that hadn't worked in years. And a few families clinging to land passed down through generations. We had 2 rules growing up. Rule 1. Stay indoors after dark. Rule 2. Never, ever go near the woods during a full moon. The adults didn't explain why. They'd just say, "That's how it's always been." Then glance out the window with a haunted look. My twin brother, Tyler, never gave a damn about rules. He was the brave one, the rebel. He'd disappear into the trees for hours with a flashlight and a slingshot, claiming he was going to hunt monsters. I always stayed back, scared stiff. But Tyler? He said Black Hollow's stories were nothing but hillbilly fairy tales. That changed last November. Tyler and 2 of his friends, Cole and Darren, decided to camp out in the woods, just past the old Hollow Ridge Trail. One last adventure before winter, he said. They packed beer, jerky, and sleeping bags. He left me a note. Don't wait up. They never came home. 2 days later, Cole stumbled out of the forest barefoot and covered in blood. Not his own. He was shaking, mumbling nonsense about teeth and yellow eyes. They found him on the side of the road near the logging site, screaming at passing cars. When he finally calmed down enough to speak, he said it wasn't a bear. Said something hunted them. The sheriff, an old drunk, who barely stayed awake at town meetings, chalked it up to a cougar attack. Darren and Tyler were probably mauled and dragged off, he said. He told us not to go looking for them. Nature took its course. We buried 2 empty caskets. Tyler's was sealed shut. Cole's family moved away within the week, but I couldn't let it go. Tyler wasn't just my brother. He was me, my twin. I felt it the moment he died, like a sharp snap in my gut, like someone blowing out a candle in a sealed room. I knew he was gone, but I needed to know how. So 2 weeks later, I grabbed Dad's .308 rifle, loaded it, strapped on a headlamp, and entered the woods alone. It was snowing that night, not the gentle kind, the heavy, wet snow that muffles sound and erases tracks. The deeper I went, the quieter everything became. No birds, no bugs, not even the rustle of wind, just the crunch of my boots and the beat of my heart. I reached the old clearing where Tyler said they planned to set up camp. The fire pit was still there, half buried in slush. Tents ripped to shreds, one boot frozen in the snow. Then I saw it, a carcass. At first I thought it was a deer, but then I saw the jacket, Darren's leather bomber, torn and soaked in blood. His spine was sticking out of his back, twisted like a corkscrew. His eyes were missing, face frozen in a scream. I vomited, dropped to my knees and gagged in the snow. That's when I heard it. A low, guttural growl, not from one direction, but all around me, like the trees themselves were breathing. I spun, flashlight beam jittering through the dark. Then I saw the eyes, glowing yellow, set too high, watching me from behind the tree trunks. It stepped out, 8 feet tall, fur matted and soaked with black sludge. Its limbs were too long, its claws curled like hooks. The face, God, the face, was like a wolf's skull stretched over a human head, with jagged teeth dripping red. It didn't snarl. It grinned. I fired. The shot echoed through the trees. The round hit it square in the chest. I saw it jerk slightly, but it didn't bleed. It didn't fall. It charged. I turned and ran, heart slamming, rifle clutched uselessly in my hand. Branches whipped my face. Snow turned to mud beneath my boots. I could hear it behind me, the thudding of paws, the rasp of its breath like a furnace, the crack of trees breaking under its weight. Something swiped at me. I felt claws graze my back. Warm blood trickled into my waistband, but adrenaline kept me going. Just when I thought I'd die, when I could feel its breath on my neck, I burst through the tree lean and hit asphalt. The edge of town. It stopped. I swear I heard it laugh. I turned around. It was just beyond the trees, half hidden in the snow. Standing, watching, then it was gone. I didn't sleep for weeks. Every noise outside my apartment, a branch hitting the window, a creak in the hallway, made me jump. But I started researching. Turns out, Black Hollow had always had disappearances. As far back as the 1800s, miners, trappers, children, vanishing in the woods. No one ever investigated. No bodies found. Just rumors of the beast in the trees. I reached out to Cole. He'd been locked in a private facility upstate. Paranoid schizophrenia, they said. But when I snuck in posing as his cousin, he recognized me instantly. They hunt in pairs, he whispered. What? I asked. The big one chased us. But there was another. Slower. It watched from the trees, watching me, like it already chose who'd die. His hands were scarred, deep bite marks on his arms. I saw its face, he said, shaking. It was wearing Darren's face, like a mask. It smiled at me. I never went back. I moved to Pittsburgh, changed my name, started over. But sometimes, on cold nights, when the moon is full, I hear scratching at my window. I live on the third floor, and last week, when I came home late, there was a muddy claw print on my front door. I've been a long-haul trucker for 18 years, driven across every major stretch in Canada, from the warm coasts of British Columbia to the frozen hell of northern Alberta. If you've done night runs near the oil fields out west, you've probably heard the name Highway 47. Locals call it the Spine, a narrow road that winds through pine forests and oil rigs between Fox Creek and Swan Hills. It's beautiful during the day, but at night, it's a black tunnel of trees and shadows. And if you ask the older truckers, they'll all tell you the same thing. Don't drive it during the full moon. I used to laugh at that. I don't anymore. This happened 3 winters ago. I picked up a solo haul, an urgent job, well paid, moving drilling equipment from Calgary up to a remote rig site near Fox Creek. The job had tight deadlines, so I had to do the run overnight. By 1:30 a.m., I was deep into Highway 47. The radio signal had faded to static. There were no lights, no other vehicles, just the crunch of ice under my tires and the rhythmic hum of the engine. I passed an old gas station around mile marker 87. The sign was bent, the windows boarded up. Then I saw something dash across the road. It wasn't a deer. I slammed the brakes. The truck fishtailed slightly, but held. I stared into the trees. My headlights caught a glimpse of fur, gray, hunched, tall, before it disappeared behind the pines. I stepped out, rifle flashlight mounted, half expecting a moose or a bear. But what I saw in the snow wasn't hoof prints. They were bare feet. Bare, clawed feet, at least a foot long. 4 toes, deep set, spaced like something walking upright. My stomach dropped. I climbed back in the cab, locked the doors, and kept moving. 10 minutes later, I saw the shape again. It was crouched on a hill beside the road, watching, just watching. When my lights hit it, it didn't move. It had the silhouette of a man, but the head was all wrong. Long snout, curved back, massive shoulders. I blinked. It was gone. That's when the radio came back. But it wasn't music. It was static. And under the static, I could hear breathing. Then a whisper. Turn around. I shut it off. By 2:15 a.m., I was losing it. The road was tight, winding through blind curves. Every now and then, I'd see that thing again, sometimes darting between the trees, sometimes standing still, always too close. My GPS started glitching, showing me in the middle of the woods. Then I hit something. The cab jolted. I slammed the brakes and skidded to a halt. My headlights lit up a horrifying sight. A man, or what used to be one, was crawling across the road, leaving a dark trail in the snow. His skin was shredded, one leg gone at the knee. His eyes were wide, blood pouring from his mouth. I jumped out with a first aid kit, heart racing. But before I could reach him, he screamed, "It's behind you." I turned. The thing was there, 10 feet tall, hulking, covered in gray-black fur, patches missing. Its chest heaved with every breath, muscles bulging under its hide. Its eyes glowed yellow, reflecting the headlights like polished glass. And its mouth was grinning. Rows of jagged teeth, slick with gore. It moved faster than anything that size should. One leap, and it was on the man. Bones crunched. Blood sprayed across the snow like paint. I backed toward the truck, dropped the kit, climbed into the cab, and floored it. It followed. I saw it in the mirrors, sprinting alongside me through the trees, keeping pace. It would vanish for seconds and then reappear ahead. Once, it leapt into the road 10 feet in front of me. I swerved and nearly tipped the trailer. My tires caught the edge of a ravine, but somehow I recovered. I don't know how I stayed on the road. I didn't stop until I saw the rig camp lights, barely glowing in the fog. When I pulled in, I collapsed in the snow outside the mess hall. The workers ran out thinking I had a heart attack. I told them everything. They didn't even blink. "You saw it, huh?" One of them, a guy named Kyle, asked. He was maybe 50, missing 2 fingers, smoked like a chimney. The howler comes out when the snow's deep and the moon's full. I thought he was mocking me, but then he pulled up his sleeve. For deep scars, like claws, across his forearm. "We don't talk about it much," he said. "Too many people would call us liars. But every few years, someone gets torn up. Animals go missing. We just burn what we find and keep going." "Why doesn't anyone stop it?" I asked, still shaking. He shrugged. "Ain't something you stop. Ain't natural. Ain't mortal. It's part of the land now." I stayed at the camp for 4 days. Refused to drive back. When I finally did, I went around Highway 47. Added 8 hours to the trip. Didn't care. Since then, I've only done day hauls. I carry silver buckshot in my glove box. A gift from Kyle. "Just in case," he said. "Because sometimes, when I drive too late, I still see yellow eyes in the rearview mirror. And I always wonder, did it let me go? Or is it just waiting?"